Hey, you guys, it's your boy Josh Vision, and I'm back. It's been a while, but I'm here to review the latest Marco Polo episode of Season 1, Episode 7, entitled The Scholar's Pin. So, before I give my little recap of this episode, I'm going to tell you guys a few things that I liked about this episode and a few things that I disliked about this episode. So, what I liked about this episode is that we got more insight to Chancellor Jessa Dow's mindset. The reason why he treats Maylene like such a like a sister you like someone you really don't even want to acknowledge, and it goes beyond her being essentially a royal whore and all that stuff. There's much more layers to that animosity, and it might not even be animosity, at all. Besides that, I enjoy how it totally how can I put? What else did I like? I like the whole thing with Ahmed and Maylene as well. Because throughout this season so far, it seems as though Ahmed is trying to position himself somehow, but you don't know quite as. It doesn't seem like he wants to be like the king. I mean, he doesn't want to be like in Kublai's position. It seems as though he's trying to position himself to sort of be like what I believe Yusuf is to Kublai. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to become that second command for when Jingham eventually takes over. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to take Kublai's throne. You know what I mean? Because Ahmed seems to be a very interesting character, not just because of his like the way he can be very vicious and brutal, like in episode 4, I believe, or 5, in which the whole thing with Kublai almost dying, and he was saying that we had to go after them straight ahead and be vicious, and the whole meeting with him and Jacob, in which he had to be when Jacob had to sort of escort him out because like Ahmed was really forcing the issue, like telling them they want a certain amount of grain every year and all that. So Ahmed is a very interesting character because you don't quite know what he's thinking. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, another thing I like about this episode is that the whole thing with Marco and Hundred Eyes, and how Marco says, you know what, if we die, at least we die for a true cause. And Hundred Eyes laughs. And Marco's like, what are you laughing about? And Hundred Eyes like, listen, what one chooses to believe in and what one's compelled to believe in is pretty much, you know, is the difference. And I just thought that was so interesting because Hundred Eyes have been so silent, this whole season. We kind of, we know that him and Kublai clearly have they're amicable with each other and all that stuff. There's some type of friendship, you know, that especially is expounded upon earlier, in this episode. But we don't really know what Hundred Eyes thinks about Kublai trying to take over China. You know what I mean? All that stuff. Or just the world in general. So it's obvious that he doesn't quite agree with Kublai in that manner. But the question is, if he doesn't agree with Kublai in that manner, then what's really the dealio? How did he get to where he gets? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Before I get into like the whole recap, you know what I mean? The bad stuff I hate about this episode, I really hate the fact they're trying to hook up, the Blue Princess with Jingham. I didn't think that made any fucking sense. Well, it did make sense, but you know what? Actually, I would say bad. That's more like meh. In regards to, and another thing that I really dislike, the whole thing with Biamba and Kutulin, that whole like they should not be together. Okay, they should not be. But you know what? I'm done saying what I just like about this episode. I'm gonna go straight to the recap. So we begin this episode with Maylene essentially, at the Khan's mercy. She looked like she got her ass beat the fuck up. She's in chains. She got a chain around her neck, and she's pleading for the Empress Chabi to spare her because she said that she didn't want to do this, that this was all because of Jessadal, will, and that she was pretty much to be there like sort of like a double agent, or not really a double agent, but sort of like a spy. And when the time came, her mission was just to take out, you know, the Empress. And Kublai is like, why the Empress? And she essentially says that, everyone knows. The Empress is basically the heart and soul of Kublai, so if you take her out, that would probably either take the fight out of Kublai or pretty much just make Kublai, an easier target, to take out. So everyone is shocked when they find out that Maylene is Justin Dow's sister. Everyone's shocked. That the look on Jingle's face was fucking priceless. So at one point we have the Empress Chabi have get a big ass sword and almost like literally cuts Maylene's head off because Maylene says, "Listen, you should know, Empress, what it's like a mother's love for her child, and how she would dare do anything that has to be done, even if it goes against her own morals, to protect her daughter or your child. Because I had to do it because I had to protect my daughter. I don't know what he's gonna do to her. He might kill her. You know what I'm saying?" And the Empress Child was like, "How dare you?" And then that's what it kind of ended right then and there. And then we have this scene in the garden in which Kublai's like, "Listen, that bitch is dead. I don't give a fuck." Empress trying to pretty much convince Kublai otherwise. And as we see in the previous episodes, we know the Empress and Maylene had a little rump a rump rump in the bed. So it's quite obvious that the Empress is kind of feeling Maylene. Obviously not as much as her husband, but there's a form of attraction. I think there's also a vibe that goes beyond the sexual. You know what I mean? So Kublai has this great line in which he says that, "Listen, like I believe Empress Charlie mentions up the about Buddha and pretty much trying to make sure everything's all settled peacefully, whatever. Because we know throughout the show, Empress Chabi is very peaceful minded. She's very diplomatic, and that's why Kublai said to Jigma in the first episode of the season, "You are very much your mother's son, because you're very diplomatic and peaceful like she is." You know what I mean? But Kublai's like, "Nah, fuck that shit. As the Bible says, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, motherfucker." And the Empress is like, "Listen, you only use religious like sayings and metaphors and shit only when it serves you." So she pretty much tells Kublai, "Listen, I'm not a war monitor, whatever, like you. I won't have the blood of innocence on my hands. But pretty much this girl is, it's wiser for us to keep her alive. Because one, she is a sister of the Chancellor. She'd give us more dirt on the song and what's going on in there. And you could do with her as you wish." It was interesting to stare. Well, kind of the look they gave each other. You know what I mean? It's like Kublai's like, "I could do with her as I wish." And it was kind of like Maylene, the Empress was kind of not, like, she just did that as a way to save her, obviously. But it was kind of like I don't know. It was just something about that look she gave to Kublai, the exchange they gave. It was just kind of weird. After that, we have Kublai meeting up with Hundred Eyes, and Hundred Eyes, you know, training building. So, or dojo for that matter. So Kublai says to Hundred Eyes, he's like, "Listen, you are a Taoist monk that can eat meat, drink wine, and enjoy a woman, but you never took a bride." And Hundred Eyes is like, "Because I try to avoid disappointment." And that is so true. He's basically saying, I'm trying to enjoy myself, be trying to be job as free as possible, dealing with your ass, always wanting wars and shit, and training everyone, that you want me to train, whatever. But we get to the nitty gritty. And Kublai mentions that he has three wives. And obviously, at that time, it wasn't really strange or alien for rulers to have more than three wives, whatever. Some of them would have like a harem, probably like 30, 100, whatever. But in this episode, we get pretty much, factual information that he has three wives. One talks too much. The other one got some ugly ass teeth. But he pretty much says that Empress Chabi is like a gift from the eternal blue sky. And if anyone was to take her from him, in that trademark Kublai look, you pretty much got the deal that it would be that person would regret the day they ever did that. So He asks his Hundred Eyes, is a Latin, aka Marco, is he established or is he accomplished? Yeah, he says he accomplished. And Hundred Eyes is like, well, he's accomplished for someone that has no accomplishments. And Kublai's like, okay, good. I want him to go with you. You're gonna go to the Song Dynasty. You mean you two are gonna go to the Song Dynasty, and I want you to kill Chancellor Jessedal. And Hundred Eyes is like, what makes you think that I will return after doing this task? And Kublai's like, what makes you think I would want you to? You know? And then Hundred Eyes is like, listen, do you ever listen? You know what I mean? And then Kublai's like, yeah, I listen when when I want to. Or no. He says, yeah, I listen, but I choose to listen. You'll be pretty much I pick what I want to, what I what I choose to. You'll be you guys get the gist. It's hilarious. So we have Kublai calling Marco, and Marco essentially being given the Gary, and the Gary's like this golden tablet that basically allows Marco and Hundred Eyes to go anywhere they want in the kingdom, whatever. You know what I mean? So, and I believe during this conversation, Kublai asks Marco, "Where's the highest building in Italy?" And Marco mentions a certain church, and the Kublai's like, "Okay, why is that church so damn high?" You know what I mean? He said, "What, to get rid, to get close to your God?" And Marco's like, "Nah, it's to help us get away from our demons." And just I just love their relationship at this point in the season, especially the beginning. They can tell that they're generally fond of each other. I mean, the first two episodes, there's general tension, but especially I would say post that the chess scene they'll have with each other, where they're playing chess and Kublai almost get assassinated, and after that it's and not just that. I would say after Marco branded his father, his uncle for them stealing, and him going along with Kublai, I see Marco and Kublai in a sense being like a father son in a way. That Kublai in a way has accepted Marco as another son, and Marco has accepted Kublai as like the father that he never had. So, anywho, we had Ahmed say that Maylene told them of her told them about the whole thing with the whole struggle between Jessedal, the Empress, and her fighting champion. I believe his name is Jing Feng. I believe I could be wrong, but he like I said before in the other review, he's a legendary warrior who's rose for peasantry to be literally the greatest warrior of that generation. And like we said before, Chancellor Jessedal and the Empress have been going at it all season so far. It's literally been a game of one-upsmanship. Jessedal wants to fucking take out the Mongol devils. The Empress is like, nah, fuck that. Excuse me. They are too strong for us. It'll make more sense for us to negotiate peace. So, obviously, with her relieving Jessedal of his war, position and giving it to the war champ, giving it to Jing Feng, whatever, um, he has to sign the papers, whatever. And obviously, no one believes he's going to sign the papers. That he's not going to give up that easily. So his death averts it, as Kublai says. So this is the importance of the mission Marco and Hundred Eyes go on. So from that, I'm gonna touch on the Blue Princess and Empress Chabi. So like I mentioned before, you know what I mean? Um, Empress Chabi and the Blue Princess. It's obvious that Empress Chabi sees something in the Blue Princess. Who really is the Blue Princess? Obviously, as we know, her name was Honka Kokachin. She was a servant girl, and she took the identity of the Blue Princess in order to save her life, and vice versa. So, anyhow, it's obvious that Empress Chabi is grooming her to be Jingo's next wife, and they have one scene in which she asks she asks Kokachin about what her life was as a Blue Princess, her people, what are their thoughts? Well, I mean, like, is it different? Pretty much the a compare and contrast of how she lives at her current station compared to back then. So they go back and forth, whatever. They talk, um, and eventually Empress Shabi and Kogacha, they go over to the stables where Jigum's at, and he captured a hawk or something along the lines. And she talked about how the horses Jigum had was bigger than the usual Mongol horse, and Jigum said it was like a half breed or something to make it much more make it have more durability and whatnot. And if it's Chabi's pretty much, propping Koga-chan up, aka the Blue Princess, saying how good she is on horseback and with the bow and all that stuff, how she left the sand in her face, whatever, during their little run to get here. And we notice that Jingle's wife comes in the picture. And Jingle's wife's like, hi, mother, how are you doing? She got her little servant with her, or two servants with her, and she's looking at the Blue Princess like, oh, no, you ain't, girl. No, you ain't. This is mine. And then the Blue Princess and Empress Chabi bounces, and Jigum, you can tell Jigum's intrigued. Jigum's like, she's interesting. Like, he's feeling her already. So, you know what? Should I go to Biamba and Kusulin? Fuck it, whatever. They're on my mind right now. So, we're going to go to Biamba and Kusulin. Like I mentioned before as well, they got together. And remember with Kusulin that pretty much the guy that beats her wrestling is the one that can pretty much take her in marriage, whatever. So, with Biamba, her wrestle, Biamba won. And Biamba mentions to her while she's trying to sharpen her sword that, listen, there are plenty of other guys who are more proficient wrestler than I am. Did you let me win? And she kind of admits to him, yeah, I did let you win. And she also says, if I wanted you years ago, I could have had you years ago. And pretty much we have this moment in which they both agree that they're warriors and they're kind of meant to be with each other and then kiss and shit. So, yeah. And by the way, the only reason why they had to fight in the first place because, like I mentioned before, they're in charge of their little army, and the army was pretty much not really feel the fact that they were going to be led by a woman. So, Kusula said that she understands their trepidations, but that she's a great warrior, and that she'll fight their best warrior that they have, and they know they're Biamba, and that's how the whole fighting and all that crap got to play. So, did not like this at all. I really thought it, and I always believe this. I feel as though Marco and her have really great chemistry with each other compared to Marco and the Blue Princess, which is good chemistry, but not as great as Marco and Kuchelin's chemistry. Beyond her, they do have chemistry, but I feel as though I just don't like them together. I feel as though Marco and her will at least be a much more interesting dynamic. Even if her and Marco didn't get together, at least a flirtatious type thing or friends with benefits type thing, you know. But it is what it is. Biamba's a good character. He's a good guy, whatever. He deserves some loving too. But I wasn't really feeling them pitting Biamba with Kuchlin. But then again, they did make a great point in this episode of saying that they are both warriors. And how in that region, that area, being a warrior is literally like it's the utmost thing to be. That's what you have to be. And like Kuchlin said in an episode earlier, Marco is a pale flower. He is not a warrior. So if Marco was a warrior, she would be with Marco right now. So I just find it really good how they just literally just pretty much put it to bed right there, pretty much explaining why she's not with Marco. Because in her eyes, he is not a warrior. He's a pale flower, aka he's a bitch. Well, not a bitch, but he ain't a damn warrior. So yeah. Next scene we have Jingham speaking with Achman, and once again, Jingham is bitching about how the Latin seems to have his father's favor, how quickly Marco has rose compared to the other foreigners that Kublai has had over the numerous years, whatever, and he's clearly in his feelings. And Aqua's like, listen, we don't know what can become of this. And Jacob's like, but didn't you mention before about how, how Marco and his father could be like foreigners and all this shit? They could probably try to destroy us from within. And Aqua's like, yes, but listen, we gotta look at it like from this perspective. If he succeeds in what he does, then it's all good because it benefits us at the end of the day. If he succeeds, it benefits everyone, so it shouldn't matter. But if he fails, then we take his ass out. So that was pretty much a quick scene, but a very important scene because now we have literally Ahmed and Jingham plotting, and you kind of wonder to yourself, why is Ahmed so jealous of Marco? Then again, when Songi died in the second episode, Ahmed said, "Do you think you're the only foreigner that got to the cause favor?" So maybe this is out of jealousy. Then again, I don't really see this as jealousy. I feel as though this is just another way of Ahmed because Ahmed is a very strategic and shrewd person of him pretty much just taking out the competition or possible threats in order to make his position even more secure and firm. But anywho, we're getting back to the song, whatever, and we have pretty much the Chancellor speaking with the old woman, the Empress, and the war hero. So she says to pretty much Justin Dow that, listen, we respect all that you did, even though it was kind of foolish that you try to continue on fighting the Mongols when it was kind of a suicidal mission in a sense, and your stubbornness won't allow you to back down, and I had to literally force your hand by relieving you of your war duties and all that stuff by having the war hero be here. But yeah, whatever. You know what? You have achieved a lot, and you're a free man. You can do what you want. You know. And one thing that I think I forgot to mention is the fact that Mei Lin's prostitute friend lied to the chancellor by saying, well, to Justin Dow, by saying that the mission has succeeded, that she was capable of pretty much killing the Empress, which she did not, and she was fearful of what would happen to her when she finds out when Justin Dow will find out that she lied. So Justin Dow is asked by um, the Empress, "Do you not worry about what happened to your sister?" And Justin Dow has this very interesting thing, which you can tell he's kind of worried about his sister, but he doesn't want to show it. He says pretty much, "I don't know. She's nothing more than a whore. And it doesn't matter what my niece, feels about it. She will one day come to agree with me that her mother was nothing more than a whore." And the Emperor's like, "Do you have a hole in your heart or something? What is wrong with you?" And this scene is expounded upon when Justin Dow has a scene with, once again, Mei Lin's prostitute friend. And he talks about how the importance of rules and why he has to do the things he has to do, because if he doesn't do it, who else is going to do it? And it won't help save his people. And it seems as though before he tries to sleep with Mei Lin's prostitute friend, he has a flashback of his sister when they're young kids and she's having sex with this old ass man. It's a pedophile shit, whatever. And he refuses to sleep with with Mei Lin's friends. So one thing I'm wondering, which I feel as though Justin Dow feels guilt for not being able to man up in a sense, even though they were both children, you know, wasn't able to protect his sister from doing work like that. Um, I feel as though he just feels guilty that that not just for her sleeping around and like doing shit like that, but hmm, he wasn't able to protect her. You know what I mean? He wasn't able to do things that was necessary in that. And it's not even about her like helping him get to the top of the political land, the song, whatever, by sleeping with the people. It's it was just pretty much that he had to watch his sister pretty much to be degraded and just all that stuff as a child, even till now, whatever, and that he couldn't prevent that or stop that. So that's why I think he is so insistent on trying to protect the song because it's like he loves his country. I mean he loves his state, whatever. pretty much probably as much, if not a little bit more, than his own sister. So in a way, it's kind of his way of redeeming himself for being so weak those many years ago. So speaking of which, we have Marco and Hardrice making it to the song, state, and the treacherous stable boy who was giving all this information and shit to Bailey, her prostitute friend, and the song, all that shit. He leads them in. Well, he saves them from being interrogated by the guards, whatever. So essentially, 100 Eyes gives the dude a warning. He's like, listen, bro, if you cause any alarm, I swear to God, before my days are done, I'm gonna kill your ass. All right? And the guy's like, listen, I saved you guys, monk. Remember that. All right, buddy? And pretty much he says that he's gonna get a Mayleen's prostitute friend when the moon is low. So he keeps his end in the bargain, and Mark was able to grab her and keep her quiet. And then the stable guy's like, so, am I relieved of my duties? And 100 Eyes like, mm-hmm. Before the dude can leave, 100 Eyes just does some shit to his neck, kills the motherfucker. Dead. Right there. So, Maylene, fuck, why am I Maylene? Anyways, Marco pretty much tells Mayleen's friend that, listen, we got information about the song, Maylene told us everything, and all that shit, and we just want you to know, and we need your help, because 100 Eyes is here to kill Jessica, and all this bullshit, all the potential warfare, and all this stuff. His death must happen. So she agrees. She leads 100 Eyes into the home the next day, or at least to the office to which Jessica is supposed to sign off, to the war hero. And you knew Jessica wasn't going to do that. So Jessica really looks at the pen, aka the scholar's pen, and he tries to stab the war guy with it. And a big fight, an epic fight ensues between those two. And you could tell that Jessica had the advantage. And eventually, 100 Eyes, he takes out like 7 guards like it was nothing, and he enters the fold. And it's basically like a triple threat match, WWE style. And 100 Eyes takes out Jessica briefly, and he engages with the war guy. But Jessica, because I know it with the scholar's pen, and just stabs the motherfucker straight through the neck, instantly killing him. And Jessica starts fighting 100 Eyes, and he basically has the advantage once again, like he had with the war hero. He has it with 100 Eyes, and then the cavalry starts to come, for Jessica, and 100 Eyes bounces. He leaves. So at this point in time, the Empress is worried. You know what I mean? Because the coronation is supposed to happen, and it's so important for Jessica to relinquish his stuff in writing and all that stuff, but it doesn't happen. And Jessica literally comes into that piece with blood over his face like an ultimate badass and says, "Are you ready to take your throne, young emperor?" And the emperor's like, "Yes." And the emperor has that look, and the empress has to look on her face like, "Ah, fuck, we're fucked, and I'm done." Jessica has that look like, "I'm gonna kill you, old bitch. I told you don't fuck with me." So Marco is able to sort of skim down, draw out the song defenses, the inner layings of the city, and all that stuff. And him and 100 Eyes leaves with Maylene's daughter. So Marco gives a list to Kublai and Yusef, while Jingham and Ahmed are there observing, and everyone's getting ready for war and shit. And you have Kublai give this really inspiring speech saying that, listen, there's only so long that peace can keep everything, all together. Sometimes you have to use a sword in order to ensure peace, whatever. And we must finish the dream of the great Genghis, who had a dream of taking over all of China. And here's our opportunity. Here's our chance. And he says to the soldiers, listen, I can't just I'm not gonna use like the lust of booty and slaves to entice you, but of honor. Those who lose your lives over this whole war thing, just remember your father, your wives, your sons, your nephews, your nieces, nephews, everyone for your family line will know about your accomplishments, know what you sacrificed. It'll be written down in the history of the Mongols what you sacrificed in the name of Genghis. So after that, I know Kublai says March and everything. It was a really inspiring moment, whatever. Everything's all getting set up. The war. You got Jingham, ready for war. Biamba, Kutilin, Marco 100 Eyes. So everything's getting set up for this big war against the song, and that's all I have to say about this episode. Thank you guys for liking. I mean, I'm sorry. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like the video if you can. Subscribe to my channel. Write some comments down below. And once again, this is your boy Josh Vision, and have a nice day.